Very good morning to all of you. Today discuss about the physiologicals and sports. Sports physiology is the study of the long and short-term effect of training and the body composition condition of athletes. Indeed, it is the study of how exercise of sports activity alert the functions and structure of our body. As a matter of fact, when we take part in games and sports or physical exercise, certain physiological changes such as aerobic capacity, muscles composition, size of muscles, intensity of the nerves impulse, lactic acid tolerance, muscular strength, stroke volume, heart rate, blood pressure, etc. take place. These physiological changes are witnessed both in young populations and in age of people also. So today we discuss about the physiological factor determining the components of the physical fitness. So there are the components of physical fitness are strength, speed, endurance, flexibility, etc. So first of all discuss about the physiological factor determining the strength. So strength, there are the four type of that strength which physiological factor of strength. First one is size of the muscles. So the strength of the muscles largely depends upon the size of the muscle. It is a well-known fact that the bigger and larger muscle can produce more force. Force produced by the some size of the muscle in males and female in approximately same, but males are found to be stronger because they have larger and bigger muscle in comparison to the female. With the help of the different method of strength training, such as weight training, the size of the muscle can increase and thereby the strength is improved. So strength is determining by the size of the muscle. Next one is the body weight. Body weight, it is also well known as the fact of the individual who are the heavier are generally stronger than the individual who are lighter. Okay. uh, the heavier weightlifter lift heavier weight, so body weight also determining the strength of an individual. And then the muscle composition, each muscle consists of basically two type of muscle fiber. One is first twist fiber, that's called as white fiber, and slow twist fiber, that's called as red fiber. The first twist fiber are capable to the contract the faster, and therefore they can produce more force. On the contrary, the slow twist fiber are not capable to the contracting the faster, although they are capable to contracting for a longer duration. The muscle which have more percentage of first twist fiber can produce more strength, and the percentage of the first twist fiber and slow twist fiber is given generally determining the determining minute and cannot be changed through the training. So it can be said that the percentage of this fiber determining the strength of the person. And next one is the intensity of the nerves impulses, that is the muscles is composed of the number of motor unit. The total force of the muscle depends on the number of contracting the motor unit. Whenever the stronger nerves impulse from central nervous systems excite more number of motor units, and the muscles will contract more strongly, or it can be said that the muscle will produce more force or strength, so that intensity of the nerve impulse also determining the amount of strength. So this is for the physiological strength. And next one is the speed, physiological speed. Physiological speed, first one is a mobility of the nervous system. Mobility of the nervous system, this is called mobility of the nervous system of the this is called the mobility of the nervous system. The nervous system can ex, maintain the repeat excitations and inhibition only for a few seconds, after which the excitations and spread to the neighboring center, causing the tension in the entire body. This result in decrease in speed. The mobilities of the nervous systems can be trained, but only to a limited extent. Indeed, the speed is determined to a great extent by the genetic factor. So, our muscle contract and relax at the maximum possible speed as seen in a sprinting event. This repeat contractions and relaxation of the muscle is made possible by the repeat excitations and inhibitions of the concerned motor center. And next one is the muscle composition. Muscle compositions on the speed matter. The muscles with the greater percentage of the first twist fiber contract with the more speed in comparison to of the muscle with lower percentage of the first twist fiber. In fact, the muscles composition is generally determining and cannot be changed the training. And different muscles of the body have different percentage of first twist fiber, so different part of the body have different speed performance also. And then explosive strength, everybody know the explosive strength. Everybody quick and explosive movement. Explosive strength is explosive strength is indispensable. For example, a quick punch of in boxing cannot be delivered if the boxer lacks explosive strength. Explosive strength further depends on the muscle composition, muscle size, and muscle coordination. It also depends on the metabolic process. And next I'm talking about the flexibility. Flexibility also determining the speed to a certain extent. In fact, the good flexibility allows the maximum range of movement without much internal assistance. Flexibility also enables compel utilization of explosive strength. Next one is biochemical research on the metabolic power. For the maximum speed performance of muscle require more amount of energy that very high rate of consumptions. For this purpose, the ATP, the phosphorus, adenine triphosphate, and the CP stores creatinine phosphate storage in the muscle should be enough. If ATP and CP store is less, is contracting muscle. In contracting muscle, the muscle contraction due to insufficient energy supply become slow after a short time. The energy supply also depends on certain enzymes which increase the metabolic power. The amount of ATP, CP, and rate of energy supply can be enhanced by training. Therefore, it can be said that the biochemical reserve and metabolic power determining the speed. So this is for the speed. Next one is endurance. Endurance as physiological factor is aerobic capacity. Aerobic capacity, there are the two types of aerobic capacity: oxygen intake, oxygen uptake. Oxygen oxygen transport, and energy reserve. So aerobic capacities that I'm talking about, the oxygen uptake, it is amount of oxygen which can be taken by the lungs from the atmosphere. If the amount is more, then it is better for achieving higher VO2 that maximum. And the oxygen intake depends on the vital capacity, which further depends on the lung size, number of active alveoli, strength of the respiratory muscle size, and of and the size of the chest cavity, etc. Oxygen intake is not a limiting factor for endurance performance in a healthy sports person. Then oxygen transport, the amount of oxygen taken into the blood from the lungs has to be transported to the working muscle. The oxygen transport depends on the amount of oxygen which are the blood has absorbed from the lungs and the ability of the circulatory system to carry the quickly to the working muscle. And next one, I'm talking about the oxygen uptake. Oxygen uptake, the amount of oxygen which can be absorbed, the consumed by the working muscles from the blood is called oxygen uptake. So next one is I'm saying about the energy reserve. Energy, the aerobic capacity also depends upon the availability of the fuel to the muscles from which energy for the activity is derived. Therefore, the aerobic capacity of depends upon the muscle's glycogen and sugar level in the blood. If the muscle glycogen level falls below a certain level, then fatigue occurs. For longer duration activity, the muscle glycogen and liver glycogen reserved are important. In extraordinarily long duration activities, fat can also be used as an energy source. It excites in such amount that it cannot be executed easily, hence it is not a limiting factor for endurance performance. And next one is a lactic acid tolerance. This ability to tolerance a higher concentration of lactic acid is a significant factor in determining the anaerobic activities. The lactic acid tolerance is important for the activity that lasts of about 40 seconds or more. Lactic acid tolerance capacity can be improved through training, so it can be helped by improving the endurance performance. And the movement economies are significant for the endurance performance. A runner who can run at a given pace with less energy expenditure can continue with the same speed for longer duration. A good techniques in uh, in endurance sports can save energy. For example, in swimming, 20 to 30% of the energy can be saved if the movement are correct. For economic in movement, good runners set their center of gravity less higher, so the unnecessary movements are reduced. The muscle composition, there are the two type of muscle fibers, such as slow muscle fibers, fast muscle fibers. Slow muscle fibers are best used for the aerobic activities or endurance activity. The produce small level of force for long period of time, and that is why they are better suited for the endurance activities. In fact, the elite marathons have been reported to have greater than 90% slow twist fiber in their leg muscles. The percentage of this slow twist fiber are regulated genetically. And the next one is the physiological factor determining the flexibility. Physiological factor determining the flexibilities. The first one is the muscle strength. The muscle. I'm talking before talking this one. The range of the movement possible at a joint or a flexibility depends upon a number of factors. They are the sum of the factors which are not trainable, but some factors are trainable to an extent. The various factors which determining the flexibilities are described below. Muscle strength should have the minimum level of strength to make a movement possible, especially against gravity and external force. In sprint sports, the leg or knees cannot be lifted to the required high or angle if the related muscles are weak. In fact, the weak muscles can become a limiting factor for the achieving the higher range of the movement. So muscle strength is highly trainable, and therefore can enhance the flexibility of a person. Joint structure, there are the various type of joints of human body. Some of the joints intrinsically have a greater range of the motion than other. For example, the ball and socket joint of the shoulder has a greatest range of the motion in the comparison of the knee joint. The age and gender, it is well known fact that flexibility decreases with the advan- advancement of age. However, the human body is trainable. The flexibility can be enhanced with the help of training, as strength and endurance are enhanced. Gender also determining the flexibility. Females train to be more flexible than men. And stretchability of muscle is very important. The stretchability of the muscle is also a factor of limiting for range of movement. For making any movement at a joint, the muscles must contract to execute the movement. If muscles are not regularly stretched, they train to get shorter and finally restrict the range of the movement possible at a joint. The stretchability of the muscle is trainable to a certain extent. Therefore, it can be said that stretchability of the muscles can determining the flexibility to some degree. And the internal environment of the athlete influence the flexibility. For example, 10 minutes in a warm bath increases body temperature. That is called the internal environmental warm bath. And flexibility, whereas the 10 minutes staying outside in 10 degrees Celsius reduce body temperature and flexibility. Next one is the previous injuries. Previous injuries to connective tissues and the muscles can lead to uh, thickening or fibrosing on the affect area. Okay. And then fibrous tissues are less elastic and can lead to limb and shortening and what do you say uh, shortening and ultimately lead to reduced flexibility. So previous injuries mainly depends on the reduced flexibility. Fibrous tissues are less elastics and can be lead to limb shortening and ultimately lead to reduced flexibility. So there are the components of physiology exercise. Already I've discussed this physiology factor. So speed, endurance, flexibility and strength. So if you're having any doubt of this topic, so you can tell me, so we can discuss together. Thank you very much.